Welcome to the Loan Witch End podcast. Whether you're listening to us wherever you listen to audio, or if you're watching us on YouTube, welcome. Real facts, no BS, everything mortgage. Today we are here with a very special guest. This is Yvonne Fedee. She's with iTrip, and they manage property for short-term rentals. So if you're thinking of renting your property out for a short-term rental, like an Airbnb type situation, this is the episode for you. So here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about long-term versus short-term rentals. Today, we're going to talk about steps to rent your home, long-term versus short-term rental, what exactly is a property manager, how to choose the proper property manager. And you want to stick around to the end because we're going to have a bonus section, which is how to have a magnificent short-term property that everybody wants to rent. So Yvonne, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here. So you are with iTrip, which is, tell us what iTrip does.
So iTrip is a franchise, and we are in over 160 markets across the US and Canada, and we do property management for short-term rentals. So
Okay.
we manage properties on behalf of homeowners who put their properties up, like you said, on sites like Airbnb and don't want to manage it themselves. We offer a full-service solution for them.
Okay, yeah, so lots of experience there, a national company and lots of markets. So that's lots of good information that you're going to give us today. I'm really excited. So why don't you define what's considered a short-term rental? Like, what's a short-term versus long-term rental?
Right, sure. So generally short-term is considered 30 days or less. Long-term is if you have a property and you want to lease it out to a long-term tenant, they would generally sign a lease that's maybe 6 months or a year, sometimes even longer, 2 years. But for a short-term rental, you're talking folks who are coming in on vacation, or they're coming in for a special event or business or medical needs. And so they're generally not going to be in the property for longer than 30 days.
Okay, so anywhere from 1 day to 30 days.
Exactly.
Okay, got you. So that's long-term versus short-term. Now let's talk about, so if you're considering renting your home, or let's say you have a side unit, an accessory dwelling unit, or your particular house, you're going on vacation, you want to reap some rewards and rent it out. So what are some of the steps that someone needs to take if they're going to rent their home short-term?
Well, before you even get to that, the first decision that you would make is whether you want to rent it on the short-term market or the long-term market, because there are big differences. If you put it on the long-term market, like I said, you're going to sign a lease with a tenant and they're going to be in the property for maybe a year.
Okay.
And, that means that you may not be in the property itself for, you may be in the property 2 or 3 times a year at the most to see how the property is doing, what's going on with it. That can be an issue if you have tenants who are not really taking care of the property, versus putting it on the short-term market. You're going to have guests who are coming in and out continuously. After every guest stay, the property is going to be cleaned. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have eyeballs on the property all the time. You're going to have inspections done. You're going to be able to identify issues as soon as they start to come about, so that you can take care of them probably faster than you could if you had a long-term tenant.
Okay.
So that's the first decision to make. Do I want to put it on the long-term market, or do I want to put it on the short-term market? There's also financial differences, pros and cons. On the long-term market, you will have a tenant who has signed a lease for a certain amount of rent per month. So you know that amount is going to be guaranteed to you.
Okay.
The short-term rental market, you're not going to have a guaranteed amount, but the potential for your revenue that you get each month to be much higher than a long-term rental is there.
Because you can go higher or lower based on like the summer, if you have a beach property, or the time of year.
Right,
okay.
Right. So your pricing can be dynamic throughout the year depending on levels of demand, what season you're in, what events are going on in town. You can fluctuate your rates.
Okay.
So that with a short-term rental, you may be able to capture 3 to 4 times the revenue that you could if you put it on the long-term market.
Okay. Cool.
So if you do decide to go with putting it on the short-term rental market, then the things to understand are that you're going to have to furnish the place, which you wouldn't do if it was a long-term rental. The tenant would furnish it themselves.
Okay.
You're going to have to pay for the utilities. You're going to have to furnish the internet, those sorts of things. You're going to have to make sure that the lawn gets cut. Those sorts of things are what you have to think about if you're going to put it on the short-term rental market.
Okay. Awesome. And then, I mean, it sounds like a lot of work. Like I'm already glazing over just thinking about all of those tasks that you just mentioned. So why would someone use a property manager?
Well, because like you said, it can be a lot of work. It's a lot more work than putting your home on the long-term rental market where the tenants come in and they pretty much have to handle the property. Because you have guests continually coming in with a short-term rental, there's a lot more work. There's guest relations and guest communications. There's cleaning the property after every stay, all of the things that we talked about. And so some people are able to do that if they own a property and they are able to manage it themselves sort of as their side hustle. They might want to do that. But then if you scale your business and you acquire additional properties, it can quickly get to the point where you can't handle it yourself anymore.
Okay.
And so in that case, you might want to hire a property manager who can, take care of those things for you.
Yeah, no, that sounds glorious. So why use a property manager? We went over that. Now, so when you're looking at property managers, I'm assuming that there's several out there. And I mean, iTrip is not the only game in town. So when you're looking for a property manager, what should be some of the things that you look for?
Well, when you talk to different options, one of the things that you're going to quickly realize is that there's different levels of fees. And the reason for that is because different property managers bring different levels of service to the table.
Okay.
So it just depends on what you're looking for and where you want to be in terms of the fees. Generally, property managers charge a percentage of the gross booking revenue as their fee. For instance, 10% would be probably at the low end.
So 10%, I just want to pause there for a second. So that means if, let's say I'm running it out for $2,000, let's say they're going to do 30 days and it's $2,000. I'm just making this up.
Right.
10% would be $2,000. 200.
Right.
Sorry. Whoops. The math person couldn't, the lender couldn't do math there for a second. So yes, 10% of 2,000 is 200. So on the reverse end, let's say I did it for 3 or 4 days and it was $500. 10% would be $50.
Right.
Okay.
Right, exactly.
Got it. I'm clear
Right.
on 10%.
So the property manager would take that 10% and the rest of it would go to the homeowner.
Okay.
At the higher end, you might see property management fees that are 20 to 25%.
Oh, wow.
And like I said, it all has to do with what level of service the particular property manager is offering. So it's important to talk to the property manager and understand what they're offering. So at the 10% price point, they may just be helping you list the property on different booking sites, like Airbnb, Vrbo, that type of thing. And they may be handling guest communications. When potential guests send in inquiries or when they're staying in the property and they have questions about something, and they'd handle the communication, but probably not much more than that at that price point. When you get into the higher levels of fees, iTrip, for instance, is full service. So we handle, all of the guest communications. We handle the marketing and the visibility of the property, putting it up on all the booking sites. We handle the cleanings after the stays, the maintenance, collecting the money, paying the taxes, the whole 9 yards. So you're going to pay a higher management fee for a higher level of service.
Right. Yeah. Well, all those other things cost time. And having to worry about, like, you handle coordinating repairs, or you would identify, like, let's say I had my property. Do you go in after each booking and inspect?
Yes.
And so you would say, okay, this was damaged and we're going to contact the person that did it and take their deposit or whatever it is that you do.
Right.
And you're also going to help coordinate, for example, with full service, you would help coordinate repairs that need to be done. Let's say they bash in the wall or whatever. Okay.
Exactly. So it all just depends on how much does the homeowner want to have to do themselves versus how much would they like to farm out. And if you choose a full service property manager, you have the potential to make your short-term rental property be, a very passive source of income for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You basically just, collect
show
a check
up. Yeah.
each month.
Don't even show up. You just look at your bank account.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So what people should expect for short-term rental is anywhere from $10,000 to 25% is kind of an industry standard, depending on the level of service that's provided. So
Right.
that's what people should look for.
Right,
Okay,
exactly.
cool. Is there anything else we should know about?
You should
choosing a
also
property manager?
look into to what degree the property manager is local. If that's important to you, to really have local boots on the ground, and also if you, as the homeowner, have an issue and you want to be able to call the property manager and have that person actually answer the phone.
Sure.
That's something that can vary depending on if you're working with a property manager that has a model where they have employees, but they're not necessarily local, and you may be calling into a call center.
Yeah, how would they go to your property?
It's
They
more
send
difficult.
some random person to go investigate
exactly.
the property?
You know,
Okay.
and my opinion is, if you're a homeowner and your property is not even in the city where you live in, then you're not local. Then what's the point of having a property manager who's not local either?
Yeah,
you know,
you'd want to
because-
have, that's a good
Right.
point. Make sure that they're physically located in the city.
Right.
We are at the bonus material. I promised a bonus material. You are going to get it. So what are some steps or some attributes for me if, let's say, I'm going to do a short-term rental and I want to maximize the value of people just lining up to rent?
Right.
What would those be?
Well, if you think back to the origins of Airbnb started as, rent out your spare bedroom, and, the air literally was referring to an air mattress, put an air mattress on the floor.
Oh, that's where it came. Do you know what B&B stands for?
Bed and breakfast, I think,
okay.
was that whole tie-in
Okay.
to bed and breakfast.
Got you.
But the short-term rental industry has evolved so much since then, and we are long past the days of just being able to put anything up on Airbnb or a short-term rental site and expect to make money. There's a lot more competition. There's a lot more supply in the market, and guests have become a lot more discerning. So when they're looking at listings, they have a lot to choose from, and they have a lot that looks very, very nice. The decor is high end.
Mm-hmm.
So, unless they're just really, really price sensitive, if they have a choice between a place that looks fantastic and a place that looks
Yeah, I would pay. I'd pay $50 a night more for a
Right.
place that looks super inviting. Maybe
Right.
even $100. I don't know. It
Exactly.
depends where I'm going
Yeah.
and the mood I'm in.
yeah.
Okay.
So decor is a big thing.
Okay.
nowadays.
Decor. Would you say that's the number one thing?
It's very high up there.
Okay.
Yes.
Got you.
You want to not only have very nice looking decor, but you want your home to. Guests don't want to come and stay in a home that feels like they're staying in someone else's home.
Yeah.
So you have to sort of purge it from having any sort of indication that other people have lived there,
Like pictures.
family
and-
pictures on the wall, and
Yeah.
personal items around.
So neutralize
Right,
the area.
It's sort of like you do when you're staging a house to sell it.
Yeah.
You sort of do that decluttering, and because
Yeah.
again, guests are looking for almost sort of a hotel-like experience now
Okay.
with short-term rentals. And along those lines, your pictures that you put in your listing have to be really fantastic. Unless you're just really talented at taking great pictures on your iPhone, we don't really recommend it. We recommend professional
photographer.
photos.
Okay.
And not only that, but you have professional photographers who specialize in real estate photography, but even that is not exactly the same as short-term rental photography.
Okay.
When you're photographing a home just to sell it, you're going to photograph it in a certain way to highlight the space. But if you're highlighting a home as a short-term rental, you're going to take pictures of things that you wouldn't otherwise take pictures of. You're going to maybe open all the drawers in the kitchen to show how
Oh, to
well
show the
appointed the
utensils.
kitchen
Okay.
is. All of the cooking you tend to look at, how you can cook your fantastic meals when you stay in this home, and you're
Yeah.
going to take pictures of other amenities that you have in the home. Maybe your lawn games out in the backyard, your
Mhm.
cornhole, your
Okay.
barbecue grill. You're going to focus on things like that that you
Mhm.
wouldn't necessarily care about in just generic real estate photography.
Okay. That's
So your
interesting.
photographs have to be, really on point.
Precise.
Because, guests looking at those listings are going to spend a lot of time looking at the photographs even
Yeah.
before they read anything about the property in the listing.
That makes sense.
And then
Okay.
again, and just amenities, just having things in the home that differentiate it from others on the market, whether it's having a game room, foosball table, whatever it is, something that
lawn games.
exactly,
Mhm.
have those sorts of things, and make sure that you photograph them.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So pictures, it sounds, because really people are getting a feeling
Yeah.
when, the description is okay, but people can fudge up a description,
Yeah.
but the pictures really tell.
That's what allows them to picture themselves in the home and think about what that experience.
Well,
would
and
be
the
like.
rating, how big are the ratings? I mean, so many people are concentrated on reviews now. So that's something I would assume that y'all help with as a property manager, making sure that after the experience, you get the ratings from the
Yeah,
people.
the reviews are huge, like anything else. You know, people
Okay.
are always reading reviews and wanting to hear about other people's experiences to
Yeah.
help them make their decision.
Absolutely. But yeah, pictures, I never thought about that, about taking a picture of the lawn games and opening the drawers. That's interesting. Yeah, that makes a big deal.
Yeah,
Makes a big
or
deal.
if you offer, pack and plays for families with children, make sure that's in a picture. Or if you're
Okay.
a pet-friendly rental, which is a big thing, take pictures of the
Have a dog.
the dog,
Yeah.
the dog bowls, whatever,
Okay. Yeah, those are great tips. Well, Yvonne, thank you for being with us today. We're going to put some information about iTrip in the notes and the description. So thank you for joining Loan with Jen, everything mortgage, real facts, no BS. We'll catch you next time.